I'll explain that in a minute. First, I'll explain why that is the
Okay.
case.
All right.
So when you look at the world today, it's dominated by change, right? Everything that we're doing constantly, like when my parents were still, my dad's retired, my mom is at the end of her career. Like when they started their careers, they could pretty much map out what their lives would look like at work, at least for a decade in the future.
But
These days,
isn't change the only constant?
it is. It has become the only constant. Like that's what I always say on the 21st century work floor,
Right.
change has become the only constant. It's not like that anymore. So it was like that for our parents. But today, I mean, a lot of people don't know what their jobs will look like next year,
Right.
let alone a decade from now. So
Right.
if you want to deal with change, when I look at that from a neuroscientific perspective, that ain't great, man. Because
Yeah.
change means unpredictability. And unpredictability to your brain means, oh, there could be a wild animal lurking behind a tree coming to eat you. That's your primitive brain in action. So you
Interesting.
get a stress response.
Yep.
Stress on the work floor can be good or bad, and that's where culture comes in. So you can frame stress as threatening or challenging. When you frame it as threatening, what you see in behavior is rigidity. I call these the yes but people. These are the people who, whenever a change comes, they'll be like, yes, but I don't want to change. Yes, but why do I have to do it? Or my favorite one, yes, but we've always done it this way.
Yep.
That's a culture where people are not that adaptable, not that resilient. If you can create a culture in which people frame stress as challenging instead of threatening, then you see resilience. Those are the people who are able to, when COVID hit, completely change their business models to adapt to what the world looked like back then, or who can come up with creative ideas to deal with whatever the world is throwing at them. So the reason I think culture is important is because the behaviors within your organization, within the individuals in your organization, are going to determine whether or not you, as a whole organization, are able to effectively deal with the change that's going to keep coming, because that is outside of our control. So a good culture has psychological safety. It has people who are willing to be vulnerable. It chooses autonomy over hierarchy. There's a lot of trust instead of control. It's all those little elements that you build into your culture that create resilience within your teams.
Yep. Yes. I think that piece that you mentioned, the psychological safety, which is, as you said, started to be a little bit of a buzz term, but
Yeah.
it's really, really important because that's how you build bonds.
Yeah.
And bonds are built when you can connect with someone on a deeper level.